channel. So in today's video, I'm going to do a little book review. So for Christmas, my boyfriend got me this book called the Empaths Survival Guide because I am an INFJ, and as an INFJ, we are known for being empath. Side note, my boyfriend is a strong believer in MBTI. So this book is written by Judith Orloff, who is a psychiatrist, and she's also an empath herself, although I'm not too sure if she is an INFJ. So I'm going to talk about 5 things that I've learned in this book that I found was very interesting, that I never knew before. The first thing is that empaths are intuitive people. They can sense and predict things. For example, they could be thinking about a friend and then that person calls them, or they would get a burst of happiness that something good is going to happen, and then something good does happen. So based on my experiences, I have had these things happen to me before, where I would feel a burst of happiness and then, something good does happen. I would have periods of feeling kind of like down and then feeling like, something bad is going to happen, and something negative does happen. Usually not something big, but something small, and it does affect my mood. I've also had dreams where it did come true, but that doesn't happen very often. But I also thought that these things were coincidences as well. When I was in grade school, we had to predict how many jelly beans were in a jar, and I put in a number, and then when it was time to reveal how many jelly beans were in it, we were counting, and then I actually guessed the exact number of jelly beans that were in that jar. Again, is that an empath ability, or is that just coincidence? Who knows? The second thing is that there are many different types of intuitive empaths. So for example, they could be plant empath, they can be dream empath, or they can be medium empath, or a bunch of other empaths. So for plant empaths, they are attuned to the needs and what the plant wants, so they make excellent gardeners. For medium empath, they can speak to the other side of the world. And for dream empaths, they usually can predict things from their dreams, or events could happen in their dreams. So when I was reading this book, I definitely felt like I relate more to being a dream empath. And that leads me to my third point. Dream empaths like to live in their dreams. And I relate to this a lot because I definitely love sleeping, and I love just being lost in my dreams. Sometimes I wish I was still dreaming instead of being awake. Sometimes if I was woken up from a really good dream that felt so real, I would just be thinking the whole day about that dream, and then just like trying to relive that dream and be in my dream. That happens quite often for me, but I also thought that this was very common for other people too. I know that INFJs are supposed to have really vivid and realistic dreams, and for me, I get that a lot too. I do have dreams that feel like it is real life, and sometimes I can't even tell if it really did happen or if it didn't happen. I think when I was a child, it was just really hard for me to distinguish the difference between those two. So for example, when I was younger, I woke up and I was in the basement and I looked around. It was dark and I was like, oh, did I just sleepwalk over here, or did someone play a sick joke on me and put me in this basement? Is it my dad or my sister? So I thought it was either one of those two who just put me there and just kind of played a little joke on me. So I just went upstairs and I went back to sleep, and it just felt so real. And then the next day I asked my sister and my dad, and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, why would we do something like that? And till this day, I still don't know what happened. Was that real or was that a dream? It just felt so real to me. The fourth thing is that empaths are highly sensitive people, and they feel pain greatly. So a lot of empaths would try to numb their pain by turning to alcohol or drugs, which is exactly what the author in this book did when she was younger. I never did any of that stuff, but I do know that I am really highly sensitive to a lot of things, and I do feel pain greatly. I always thought it was just because I am kind of a scaredy cat, but it could maybe be because I am highly sensitive to things and I have really sensitive pain receptors. But I know this part. For me, I am really highly sensitive to a lot of things, and I do cry very easily, and things do trigger me, and I would feel upset about something that is really small. I am definitely working on those things. I'm trying to not let a lot of things affect me and ruin my whole entire mood for the entire day. Something that I also notice about myself is that I do take a lot longer to get over things. If something bad does happen, I have a really hard time getting over it. I do feel really affected by it for a long time. The fifth thing is that they get tired very easily because they are constantly absorbing a lot of energy and they are feeling a lot of things around them, so they need a lot of rest. I know for me, I do sleep a lot more than the average person, but I'm also anemic as well, so that could also be a contributing factor. But I noticed that from a young age, I do sleep a lot more than my family members, and I do need a lot more rest. So these are 5 things that I learned from this book, and I know that maybe people out there don't really believe in this kind of stuff. I mean, I just found it very interesting for me. I think I do believe it to some extent. When I was reading it, there are some things that kind of relate to me, and I do feel like, oh, that does happen to me. So I hope you guys did learn something today as well, and if you're interested in this book, read it and let me know what you learned. Thanks for watching.